Hey all, just checking in with a quick video. Sorry I couldn't make it to class today. When you are like trying to go to sleep and then you're like listing everything that you have been vaguely thinking about for like the last week or 2 weeks, and you're just going through the list and it won't shut up. And anyway, that's what I did last night instead of sleeping. Awesome. Um, but I did want to check in and say a few things about Fierce Femmes, which I'm hoping you all got the chance to finish. If you didn't, I won't spoil it for you, but I think the ending is an important piece of the whole book. So it's worth going through and finishing if you haven't. As I was thinking about readings that I want to assign for this class, it's hard because most of what I read is new writing by queer and trans authors, and I think a lot of really amazing things are happening. There are a lot of online literary magazines that, by like getting rid of some of the costs of like having to print magazines out, they're able to spend money on paying queer and trans writers and are paying editors from different communities to like reach out to other writers that they like, and creating special issues that really focus on the work that's being done by queer and trans writers right now. So my list of potential things to include on our syllabus was super long and convoluted, and I really wanted to include this book because, first of all, you know by now the importance of reading work by queer and trans people instead of just reading work about queer and trans people. We have there's a lot of problematic stuff can come up when we have cis het writers telling stories of people different from them. It can quickly turn exploitative. This has happened historically across scholarly disciplines as well. I'm thinking about anthropology specifically, where like the white British explorer like goes to learn more about the indigenous culture and ends up just like fetishizing them and bringing a lot of like shitty, racist, colonialist values into the ways that they write about people different from them. This can happen with many kinds of difference, I think. And for this class, I wanted to make sure that the syllabus was full of writing by queer and trans writers about themselves, their communities, people who share identities with them. Not because that totally erases the potential problematics that come up, but because historically queer and trans writers, especially queer and trans writers with like racialized experiences, as well as a host of other identities, disability status, immigration status, class status. I mean, folks have really not had the opportunity to tell their own stories. Publishing is a super gatekept industry, just like any for-profit industry under capitalism. There's always our politics show up in our economic choices as well. So I think it's really crucial that if I was going to have you buy one book, I wanted it to be a book by a trans woman of color, and by a small press that supports and publishes queer and trans writers of an abundance of other kinds of experiences as well. So I think as we move into the final third of the semester, this is the big thing that I want us to be considering is telling stories takes so many different forms. I'm using a multimedia form right now. We can write stories, we can record stories, make videos of stories. Writing has a very traditional role in a lot of academic spaces. We really value like printed, written, alphabetic text over many other kinds of texts, and that has been part of the gatekeeping that has made it so difficult for queer and trans writers to have access to academic spaces as students, as instructors, as authors. So not to like bum you out early in your college careers, but something I really want y'all to take away from this class is those questions. Why are we reading work by someone who's not a member of the community they're writing about? What intersecting issues of power and access and violence are at work in how we choose the texts that we choose, how you read the texts that your instructors have to see. There's a canon of texts. It's been well preserved over history, and I think that digital media and small presses are starting to kind of push back on the canon in really exciting ways. So it's an exciting time to be a young scholar, and I hope that this book provided you an understanding of literature as more expansive than just Shakespeare. Which we're not gonna go there. If you really need it, there are many other classes you can take. Fuck off. Sorry. That's all I really wanted to say about Fierce Femmes and Notorious Liars, a trans girl's confabulous memoir by Kai Chang Tom. The author has a lot of other great work available all over the internet. So give her a quick Google if you're interested. I'm going to update the calendar and post this video, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you, and sending my best.